Complex passwords are getting more and more important, and that's why you probably need a password manager at this point. Today I'm going to show you how to install Bitwarden, as well as how to get the most out of it. So if you're new to Linux, the first thing you may do is come to terminal here and do whatever your package manager is and just try to install it that way. So I'm running Nubara at this point. I would say sudo dnf install Bitwarden. But what you'll quickly see is there is no Bitwarden. So you're like, well, what do I do? So next you might come to FlatHub and think, oh, well, great, it's here, right? Well, this is not the official installer. And in some cases, that's just fine, but on an application that's going to manage my passwords, I personally would rather have the official installer, even if it's in a format that I don't always find to be the best. So if you come to bitwarden.com, you'll notice there is a download link here, and I'll click that. And if you scroll down here, you'll see Linux, and you'll get the app image downloaded. Now that we've done that, here in my downloads folder, I have the Bitwarden app image. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Control-C to copy this. So the way I tend to work with app images is I create a folder called apps in my home folder. I just keep it all lowercase to make it easier to navigate to on the command line. I just need to open this. I can Control-V to paste, or I could just right-click, paste one file, whichever way I want it to do. And now I have this Bitwarden app image here. If I right-click that and I go to Properties, I need to come over here to Permissions and double check or check is executable and hit OK. So now that I've done that, it's going to pop up and ask me, what do I want to do with this file? I'm going to click Execute. And now it'll come up with this window and ask me to log in. So now we've got Bitwarden installed on our system. However, this is only part of the kind of setup, right? What we need to do also is install this in our browser so that it's easier for us to access and easier for us to store new passwords as we go. So I'm in Firefox right now. And all you'll need to do is hit the hamburger menu there, and we want to go to add-ons and themes, and then just search for Bitwarden. It's going to come up with Bitwarden Free Password Manager, and we want to add that to Firefox, and click Add. And it'll come up and tell us it's been added. You can allow this to run in private windows or not. I'm not going to bother with that for now, but if you wanted to do that, that would be something you could want to do. And now you'll be able to log in here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. Okay, now that I've logged in, you may come into your Vault directly. I'm not going to open that because I don't want you to see what passwords I have stored, but you'll come into this. And what you'll do is, as you go around to websites that you potentially have something stored in, you can hit this little button right here. You can also click the plus, and it will let you go in and manually type the option. If you set up a new password on a site, a lot of times you'll also get a pop-up along the bottom, and I'll get a screenshot of that to overlay on top of this. I don't really want to do something where it's going to potentially give you information about the website that I go to or whatever, but I will show you what that looks like. And that is what I tend to do, is I tend to just set it up directly in the website. But the nice thing here is, let me actually go to the desktop app because I think it'll be easier to see. Which, by the way, if you haven't logged in the desktop app and you've only logged into the browser piece, you'll need to log in the desktop app separately. So in the main app here, if you click the plus button, it'll ask you what type. You can pick a login, a card, identity, or a secure note. I'm going to leave it on login right now. And let's say that you can name this whatever you want. So this is going to be website. And then username, we'll just say Vash. And then password. Here's where I think things start to get a bit more useful when it comes to accounts. So you can go and actually look for if the password's been exposed. You can view the password if you want to, or you can have it generate a password. So when I click generate a password, it's going to ask me, what I am trying to generate. I can generate a password. I can generate a username. For the password, I can pick the options. Do I want it to be a password type or a passphrase? So if I pick passphrase, it's going to ask me the number of words, the separator, whether I want capitals, what do I want to include numbers. There is no option for actual symbols beyond the separator though. But if I go password, it's going to ask me how long do I want to make it. I can start anywhere from 5 up to 128. The default here looks like it's going to be 14 for me at least. I'll leave it on 15. It's going to ask you if you want caps, lowercase, numbers, and then also you can go ahead and pick symbols. I wish you could actually tell it specific symbols here, because sometimes there are websites that will have weird requirements on their symbols. That's one thing I notice, especially like the @ symbol. A lot of times they don't want the @ symbol or something like that there. So you can also tell it the minimum number of numbers, the minimum number of special characters, and you can also tell it to avoid ambiguous characters. So this would be like 0 and a capital O, or maybe I or L and or L and a 1 or something like that. It just depends on the font used sometimes, but this will be trying to avoid those so that you're not confused on which character is which. So I'm going to go ahead and hit check right now. This is what it's going to set that password to. This is not ever going to be used, so I'm okay showing this. But as you can see here, if I increase this, it's going to change drastically. So I can't, if I look at this, I'm like, you know what? I don't really like that. Regenerate. And I can do this as many times as I want to. Once I'm ready, I can copy this password and then I can paste it into the website I'm using. So that might be something where this is really handy for accounts that maybe you're okay with letting a password manager handle entirely. I don't know that I would put like financial information. I would try to have those secure offline, but that's entirely your call. This is going to be, from what I've heard, this is one of the most secure options you're going to have. They are independently audited and stuff like that. So, but you know, once I'm done, I just hit check. It's going to come back and I can then view that. And then you can also add a authenticator code. I'm not sure. I haven't actually done that before, so I haven't actually needed to use that. But then you can add the URL. If you are doing this from the banner on the web browser, it will automatically pick that up. You can also enter an alternate URL if you need to. You can pick a folder. You can mark this as a favorite, and you can actually require you to reprompt the master password if you need to. You can also do notes, and I haven't messed with custom fields at all, so I'm not sure exactly what that does. And it's as simple as that. I'm not as huge of a fan of app image, but you can get it to show up in your menus and things like that. Personally, I don't really use the app all that much. I mostly use the browser extension. The nice part about the app image and the browser extension both is they're the ones officially supported, so they're the ones that are getting the updates automatically. There is a deb package and an RPM package. If you want to go that route, all you need to do is click more desktop installation options, and it will open up this particular section down here for Ubuntu, Debian, Linux Mint, etc. There is a deb package, and then for Fedora, CentOS, RHEL, etc. there is a RPM package. But there's also a snap. So that is apparently also maintained by the Bitwarden team. But the things is, these two are not automatically updated. So you would have to come in here every single time there was an update that you wanted to get and actually pull these down. So I don't know that I would recommend those two methods, but that is an option. Ultimately, I really like Bitwarden. I mostly don't use the app that much. I tend to stick on the browser extension, but occasionally it's nice to have the app open so that I can do some management stuff like that, where it's a bit easier to work with in that bigger screen compared to the little sidebar on the browser. But that's it for Bitwarden. I hope this was helpful, and I hope this is something that is going to be useful for you. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.